in the kitchen cooking pies. I'm like, hey, what's up below? Sit your pretty ass soon as you came.
Hi there.
Ah, sure.
All right, everybody, with Lightfall on the horizon, I wanted to go, of course, everything is. All right, everybody, today I want to enlighten you all on a little bit more about a new perk that is going to be really good on your heavy weapons. With a new raid on the horizon, this might come in handy. And the perk that we are talking about and referring to today is going to be Envious Assassin. Currently, the most prominent weapon that this perk is on is going to be the new Regnant Grenade Launcher. This is one that I got by collection farming for video purposes. So now that you have an idea of what we're talking about,
Guardian. Good. Here you go. Done and done.
let's go ahead and dive a little bit further into it. All right, so the homies over at Blazing Boots and the Regnant GL, because at the moment this is the main heavy weapon that has access to this perk. Okay, the Regnant GL as a baseline has a magazine of 5, and because we have Envious Assassin, we can overflow this thing quite the amount, up to a maximum of 13. Okay, now if you read it just on the description, it says rapidly defeating targets with other weapons before drawing this one transfers ammo to the magazine from reserves. All right, this effect
Greetings.
can overflow the magazine based on the number of targets defeated.
It's yours.
So here's what we're gonna do. Real simple. We have our primary weapon out. Our Regnant has 5. Let's kill 2 Thrall. 1 and okay, I think we killed 2.
It's yours.
Okay, we only killed. Well, point is very simple. It's easy to proc. Now, because that we have
Come visit
6 in
again
the map.
soon.
That's not how that glitch.
If let's just shoot a whole wave frame shot. Now that's a lot.
That's the way
more
the perk
Thrall
works.
that we just got rid of.
How's that glitch?
But now if we switch to it, because it's already been procced, Envious Assassin was procced the first time we pulled it out, it has 6 in it. So what we'll do, okay, we'll just shoot 1. Now we're down to 5. So let's go ahead, get rid of some more Thrall. Come on,
Yeah.
on over. Bink, and then Bink, and
Use it for Envious Assassin.
then
That's the reason that makes the gun good.
The armory was more than just
Called
the
Regnant.
arches. It was courage and action in the face of darkness.
Hey guys, you here for God Rolls from Collections. By getting the new seasonal grenade launcher Regnant, you can pull an infinite amount from Collections, allowing you to farm for auto-loading explosive light or repulsor brace destabilizing rounds for adding volatile and overshield. This is a craftable weapon, but you don't have to wait. I got mine from Defiant Engrams. You can also apply any masterwork to it, although only
I thought from collections it gives you a set perk. Like that, like what you see there is what gives you. I didn't know it gives you random perks. If you get it from collection, I'm guessing that's the bug. Like you should be able to do that. Yeah, but you didn't say that about that. Ideally, you want a crafted one though. But they'll do until I get a crafted one. What does it do with other guns? I don't want to waste some points. Like, it's only that one.
A triangular splice improves rigidity, but reduces tensile strength. Interesting.
That's a key point. What the fuck's that? Yeah. It's so long. Well, you want to craft it anyway. Then you can get an upgraded version of the perks. So you can get even stronger. Exclusive light. I don't want that one.
Commander, I'd be forging you weapons if I could, but it's not an option anymore. I'm sorry.
Why? There's my type on. All you need. It can get you through any content in the game. Where are you? It's still decent. Like, have you used it at all? What the fuck are you running? What trash are you running? Fucking hell.
Maybe this can fabricate parts to remake Volander. No, that's not the way. We need new solutions.
What about it? It's just the type on. Yeah, it's not hard to level guns though. Like, you could just farmed, giant. Or played it. I just don't care about enough about Destiny anymore. Like most of the content in Destiny is just it's too easy and it's too fucking boring. Like even the season shit's boring. Nightfall is shit. Like there's some cool stuff added, but not enough. Like Bungie can do a hell of a lot better.
I am the Black Armory. They can steal all the forges they want, but they cannot have my hands or my mind.
Cascade Point. So that there one could work as well. So you do like you stack up Envious Assassin, but you stack up that as well, make it do even more damage. Well, it'll increase the DPS, but it won't increase your actual damage. I'm running low materials. I'm sure I can get some anyway though. You don't say I want something else.
Maybe if the threading algorithm was layered. No, that still won't work.
You want spike grenades as well, don't you? I thought that could work as well though. Doesn't have to be spikes, but it's just nicer if it is.
Begin log. Initial experiments in polyphasic recombination are discouraging. Perhaps another route is wiser.
They're easy to get. Like it's not hard to get materials in this game. I can have over to like 200 in like what 5-10 minutes, maybe a bit longer.
Yes.
Tree. I've seen the kid thing, but I didn't notice the tree. Let's buy some enhancement course. He sells something there? No, it's this guy.
A transaction to make, Guardian?
What does the daily limit? It just shows you how I often I don't buy from this guy. Like I didn't even know there was a daily limit.
Guardian, what puzzles do you bear?
Proximity mine should be out, shouldn't I? And it's like it'll hit. Like that means as soon as it hits the target, it'll blow up anyway. It just means I have to aim a wee bit better.
New worlds mean new secrets.
What masterwork do you want on it?
Only the normal ones.
First games.
And scene. Play like a bot for a bit. Come on over. Very hard to find. We have raid setup. Is currently right now running a triple void surge setup only costs you 3 energy slots on your boots. It'll be even more interesting whenever we get more heavies with this, mainly. So very simple like this. Get rid of all those thrall with our wave frame, and boom, we have 11 in the mag. Let me know if you plan on using this perk for your day 1 raid setup. Me personally, I'm going to craft at least 2 of these Regnant GLs when Tuesday rolls around, and have one of these on standby that has spike grenade.
I need to get. Oh. Well, I could be body resetting right now.
As currently right now, running a triple void surge setup only costs you 3.
Well, that's why it was so weak when I was using it.
I must admit, Guardian, I'm very curious to see what you've got for me to crack open.
Alright. Do I need to keep using the bow? I do. I wish LG was in. It's not in yet. So much for it being in at launch. What's that on or what I need it? It's barrier. It's my barrier anyway. Barrier you don't have to worry about.
I've started to make a fair amount of content surrounding disturbing movies. This realm of cinema is just so
Busy done with Destiny now, I'm not gonna lie.
interesting.
I'm already done
and
with
it's
the season
rare
for now.
that when I cover these films that I
Just move it
initially
down one
watch the
read now.
movie on a massive mainstream streaming service. I'm talking Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney.
We'll probably do a raid
So I
beforehand.
thought, what is the most disturbing movie
We'll probably do a
on
raid
each
if he
of
does
these
before.
platforms? Let's start with Netflix, the OG. Now, back in the day, from what I remember and what I could dig up, Netflix used to have some spicy titles readily available, but they definitely seem to have toned it down as they grew. For example, in 2013, you could watch Dogtooth, the original Oldboy, Human Centipede, Funny Games, Irreversible. I want to say irreversible, but I think it's not pronounced that way. I just don't want to be uncultured. And a lot more film. And I don't know what I could compare that lineup to now in present day Netflix. And I didn't want to ask you guys before I made my first part, so I just went to go look at a bunch of rando lists, and there's not a lot of them. Some names I consistently saw were The Platform, which has been suggested to me dozens of times, but never as a disturbing film. Gerald's Game, which has been suggested as a disturbing entry, but I can't confirm it because I've never seen it. And Hush, which I don't think has ever been suggested to me for anything. And it just looked like your typical home invasion stalking film. But for some reason, Hush came off as top gun on these lists. And listen, I'm taking all these lists with a grain of salt, because even though it seemed like they had some interesting titles, I'm also leaving out the absolute joke entries of movies such as Bird Box, Unfriended, The Open House, which I haven't even seen, but I don't know, just a hunch on that one.
I
I
already
watched
won.
Hush, and I liked it. Oh, disturbing? Let me just give you some thoughts.
The more I play Destiny, the less I want to do the real day one.
I'm gonna kind of spoil it too, so you know if that ends up upsetting you, definitely you're bad. I do think it's a fun watch regardless. 2016's Hush, directed by Mike Flanagan, starring Mike Flanagan's wife, Kate Siegel. Making a movie like this seems far from easy. Our main character, Maddie, is not only deaf, but also mute, so there is a severe shortage on dialogue, which at times can struggle to keep you invested, and other times highly benefit that scene, especially
I don't think I need these anymore.
For example,
when a
character is trying to survive, and for some reason, something triggers the memory of the knife that they left upstairs. They'll have an epiphany with their eyes. And when it's not
I can use all that chase rifles
it's a
also,
fun
but
game to play as a viewer. You're sitting there watching, oh, what's the plan? And she's onto something. And sometimes you catch it, and sometimes you don't. And I think both experiences are enjoyable. However, sometimes, after that epiphany, for whatever reason, the character would just say it out loud. Which is like the equivalent of taking the time to wrap a gift, then handing it to said person and saying it's a watch. Which is fucking stupid. Why'd you take the time to do all that if you're just gonna nut in my face without telling me? Well, maybe that's not the best analogy. That's not the point. Maddie lives in the woods alone, which already, you know why? She live in... It's fine. Sarah's her neighbor, very close friend, and like 60% of all the dialogue in this movie. And at times, this movie comes off as callback central. And by that I mean it is, because almost every piece of information given to you in these first 10 minutes of the movie makes a reappearance in one way or another, which was interesting in some regard. And also just got a little bit like I Spy. You're just watching the movie, and then all of a sudden it's just, oh, don't mind me, just showing you where my friend left the phone, Z. And I'm not trying to say that it beats you over the head with it, but I don't know, man. The first thing my eyes were glued to in these shots was this random ass corkscrew. Why you there, Mr. Corkscrew? In what world did that wine bottle need to migrate to get open? Say your lies, Maddie. Also, sidebar. If Maddie slams 3 wine bottles, would we consider, like, you know, eventual delayed and sloppy hand movement, like slurred sign? Like she just gets so drunk she just accidentally starts throwing up the set. So with a setup like this, you can't drag your feet. And to start the movie, they do not. In 12 minutes, Sarah lunges at Maddie's door, hysterical, pleading for help. Yeah, Maddie's deaf, so she's just in her kitchen Hulk Hogan-y mode. Sarah has her legs wrapped. Hawkeye, our antagonist, doesn't want to just kill Maddie, because where's the fun in that? He wants to mentally and emotionally... Hey, is this movie disturbing or not? I kind of got shit to do. Now, disturbing.
Hey, I got a little itch. You think you can help me? Only 7 inches long. Please adopt me.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
I too much caffeine. I feel sick AF now.
The most disturbing scene, I don't know. He steps on her hand at one point. Leaves her shit looking like SpongeBob after he cracked his knuckles.
I haven't had caffeine in ages, but that's a lie. Guys, just right in front of me.
That kind of made me quake in my boots a tad. I mean, it's pretty tame overall. It's a somewhat interesting concept, executed very well. Good film, but if you're trying to get twisted emotionally, darken your mental, or physically cringe throughout the entire runtime of the movie, this ain't the one. Shame on you, random 3 list that I kind of read through. So with that, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I feel like I gotta watch another one, right? I don't even think that counted. What was the other film I said? Oh, I guess it's time to watch Hey Arnold's Wingman. I mean, Gerald's Game. I just sincerely hope that this isn't more of the same. This movie's really good. Know what else is really good? NordVPN, today's massive brand giving me money. I think you guys call them sponsors. I use NordVPN. That's just a fact, because all my data stays safe behind a wall of next generation encryption. And my internet service provider leaves me alone, because for some reason, someone in this house allegedly torrented something. And then my ISP started breathing down my neck saying, hey, we're gonna cancel your service. Don't do that. We will turn the lights off and leave you in the Stone Age. That problem was later resolved, but I will say if someone hypothetically did do that in this home, they didn't use a VPN while doing it. And essentially what they did was light a flare and signal to everybody, what they're doing. Because with NordVPN, you can mask your IP, and Nord does not keep track of what you do online because they do not care. No logging policy, baby. Mwah! So go to nordvpn.com/MrGG and use code MrGG to get a 2-year plan plus 1 additional month free with a huge discount. 30-day money-back guarantee. That's correct. On the 29th day, if you decide, not for me, guaranteed refund. You can't fight that. Amazing proposition put out to you, good sir. And thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring this video. Links below, by the way. Did I say that? It's below. NordVPN.com/MrGG. Bet you forgot. Got you right back in it, baby. Let's go. Now, when it comes to disturbing, yes, Gerald's game defecates on Hush. Night and day. And me saying that is not implying that Gerald's game is like Martyrs back to the hood. But I'm excited to talk about this. And yes, this will be spoiled to the fullest extent. I love the movie, and a blind watch is definitely the move with a movie like this. Just letting you know. 2017's Gerald's Game, directed by Mike fucking Flanagan. I know. I might as well just watch his filmography. His wife's in the movie too. She's just not the main character. Gerald's Game begins with a couple trying to bring back the spice, the soul, the heart into their marriage. Gerald, the husband, has set the blueprints to effectively distribute some dick. So they have a little getaway spot they make their way to, and I'm invested immediately. Because you puppy! Okay, let's stick to the disturbing stuff, which is kind of just the movie itself, honestly. Their chemistry is absent. Jesse is very clearly uncomfortable, and Gerald is throbbing while stationary. And their bedroom break-in is not so much awkward as it is just hard to sit through. My guy Gerald's 2 blue chews in, and after handcuffing Jesse to the bed, he wants her to
I know, right? So easy.
not in the
Thanks again for the sub,
tear it
man.
up kind
Appreciate
of
it.
way scream.
I'm just chilling
but
tonight.
more so in the, hey, remember that time I didn't mention I have a raging great fantasy? She starts to protest, and Jer Bear takes that as her really getting into the role. And before Gerald does, Jesse pops off and demands to be uncuffed.
And stop calling yourself fucking daddy!
Gerald, justifiably upset that she's, clearly prude of the year, blames her and says, you know, what if I just don't uncuff you? I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do? And that's when Karma loads up the blicky and Gerald suffers a heart attack. This is where the fun starts. We are thrown into a whirlwind of disassociation, abysmal self-esteem, childhood trauma, survival, fear, death, the Grim Reaper. You're so bad, puppy pie. She sees Gerald again and eventually herself. It's her inner dialogue battling with each other in regard to everything in her fucking brain. And I love the way it plays out. This struggle for survival triggers a childhood memory of Jessie with her father when she was just 12, 13, watching a solar eclipse. And yes, it's very uncomfortable, especially because I didn't even see it coming. Like, I was on the fence, and then it finally solidified when Jessie said something along the lines of,
I'm not
Mom
using this
said
gun, but I have
dress
to.
is too short. And then her dad replied with, no, I think it's perfect for a young girl, a growing woman. Like you. Or some fucking creepy shit like that. So then he brings up something like, yeah, you used to sit on my lap and we would look at the stars. And he proceeds to do like the thing, like the meme thing, where he's just sitting there and he's like, what if we, you know,
Wishing it.
what if we like tried to relive that? And, you know,
Most boys are shit.
I know. No, that's crazy.
I know I found most of them anyway.
And I would normally not finish describing a scene like this. You know, if
Some
I
feel
didn't.
good every now and
But it
then.
unfortunately plays an important part. She does end up sitting on his lap because she loves him, and her mom's an asshole. Doesn't really like Jesse. So in comes the eclipse. Her dad unzips. He cranks it solo. Jesse clearly worried, asking what's happening, as her dad just tells her to keep looking at the eclipse. Now, why is that important? Well, every detail adds to not only the repressing of this memory, but also the defending of her father after all these years. Talking about, well, I mean, it's not like he did this, he just did this. This all wrapped up with the gaslighting job and swearing the secrets her father laid on her afterwards. This trauma and dynamic unknowingly creeping into today's choices, like choosing her shitty older husband. And it goes beyond that, and it's fucked up. And in the midst of all this, at night, Jesse sees a 7-foot handsome Squidward demon reaper monster.
Are you spawning that
His
shit?
little treasure chest with bones, jewelry, body parts, and mine, Gerald
I
specifically
got this guy deal with
tells
that.
her
I can stop him.
he's got an alarm set for your bon voyage. And Jesse obviously is like, nah, it's just a bad dream thing. Moonlight man. And they go back and forth with that. All
To be fair,
Jesse is in immense
even
pain,
the
dying
Type band still does more
slowly,
damage, even if that did have more
and
ammo in
time
it.
passes and she's in full desperate mode. She slices open her hand and just
Like the way it
destroys
is at
the
the moment.
fucking thing to slip it out the
Type
top.
band would
It
still
was
do more
kinda like
damage.
the first part of Salt, except a lot better. Sorry, Mr. Blonde Doctor Man. And she
I
sees
didn't
the
have any
Moonlight
orbs.
Man before she escapes. Tells him he's not real. And gives him her wedding ring. Weird, right? Bunch of other shit. This is what threw me for a loop. And I don't even know if I like this, but I'm gonna say I like this because I can't convince myself otherwise. Turns out, Big Man on campus was not the Reaper, was not a bad dream. He was a serial killer on the loose who suffered from issues that caused his deformity. He's arrested, she goes to the trial, he turns around and repeats what she said when she left that house. So there's no mistake here. She was being legitimately stalked on her potential deathbed by a gravedigger slash murderer slash mutilator. And she walks up to him, she sees her dad for a flash, husband for a flash, and then she talks down to him, confident, shutting his ass down, letting us know that she has overcome. Happy ending, wahoo wahoo. And I know I'm not doing the movie a sliver of justice. That's not the point. I just want you to somewhat get it. These are both good movies. I prefer Gerald's Game by a fair amount, and not even just for the disturbing factor. I mean, like Hush does a great job with tension, making your ass pucker for anything and everything. Gerald's Game does a great job of that too. Throughout the movie, I felt emotionally overwhelmed. I was disgusted. The movie played these mind games with you, and for the movie, all taking place on this stupid ass little bed, so much happened, and I never knew where we were going next. If this movie is not the most disturbing movie on Netflix, it very well might be the best disturbing movie on Netflix. And I think that's a discovery on its own. And listen, I'm sure many of you have watched both of these films. They're not exactly low-key, but I'm happy I watched them. I'm not a film critic, I've told you already. I'm just a dickhead who watches random movies and likes to talk about it and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Now here's the important part, where I ask you, the audience, what is the most disturbing movie that you've seen on Netflix that is currently still on it as well? No, not Cuties. Although in a weird way, it's a plausible option, but you know what I mean. You guys let me know in the comments. Just in the comments, don't fucking DM me. Comments. And if I see some clear titles standing out, I'll do another part to this. And we'll see if we can find somewhat of a clear victor. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Here is your second reminder to please leave a like. Please subscribe because I have more content coming your way. Shout out to my beautiful patrons for supporting the boy. Appreciate you guys very much. Shout out to Francis for retweeting my last video tweet. Subscribe to my second channel, Mr. G-Dub.
I thought I had
Subscribe to my third
something,
channel,
but I guess
Mr.
not.
GG Live. There will be
It
content
lit up as
being
if I had
pushed
something.
out through all fucking directions for the rest of the year, and I'm very, very excited about it. I hope you guys are too. I don't know what else to say except I'm tired. It's way too late to be recording this right now. So, as always, I am Mr. Gigi, and I am out.
Say they're going to unlock the rest of strong things. Let's see. Nice.
Quarantine day 42. Hey, did you guys know that I have hair? Because my hair sure wanted you to know. My hair doesn't even look real at this point. Looks like I'm wearing those wigs that people wear to basketball games. The ABCs of Death is a very interesting movie, to say the least. It's a horror anthology made up of 26 different short films from 26 different directors. Every director is given a letter. They then choose a word that starts with said letter and then make a short film about that word. And every short film has to somewhat involve death. And hearing that is actually kind of exciting. Until you start watching it. Just joking. There's no way 26 directors from 15 different countries bomb. I actually think it's kind of even. It's split into thirds. There's I like it, maybe even love it. There's why were you invited to this? And then there's I'll allow it. This video should definitely be longer than usual, so please grab yourself a quesarito and enjoy as we review 26 short films together.
could go in alphabetical order, but structure sucks. That's what they want you to do. The Earth is flat. So random letter generator it is. And our first letter is pound sign. I don't know why that's in the random letter generator. Well, that makes no spell shit. So our first letter is A, which is no fun because it might as well just fucking go in order then. So our actual first letter is D. What a weird string of letters. Hashtag AD. Bitch, you thought that was a coincidence? This video is sponsored by NordVPN. NordVPN has become incredibly clutch for me at times. And speaking of incredibly clutch, Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
I'm having fun watching.
The Last Dance. If you even kind of give a shit about sports, it's the talk of the town. I bring up The Last Dance because it's airing on ESPN. And frankly, I haven't watched a scheduled program on television since Who Wants to Be a Superhero in 2006. So I missed the premiere of The Last Dance. And unfortunately, the docuseries will not be released on Netflix until the entire series has aired. But this is where Nord can throw you the alley. For some reason, The Last Dance is already streaming on Netflix everywhere except the US. So all it takes me is a measly 30 seconds to connect to a UK server through Nord, refresh my Netflix, and watch greatness at my leisure. All you gotta do is go to nordvpn.com/MrGG for 70% off a 3-year plan. And also use code MrGG and I'll throw in an extra month of NordVPN for the hell of it. The whole thing is absolutely risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Just see if a VPN can be of use to you, especially at a time like this when we're all streaming shit constantly. NordVPN.com/MrGG, links below, and thank you Nord for sponsoring this video. This is pretty funny already. I have genuinely randomized these because I wouldn't be able to find a cute way to organize them anyway. But this is funny because G, we're starting with the worst film out of all 26. Now G is a film that you do not want to watch hungover, like I did. It's filmed on a shaky, low-grade GoPro, and it's only 3 minutes long like most of its colleagues. But when you watch a man drive, walk, and paddle with no sick Casey Neistat drone shots, it's a real bummer. This sucks. So what happens is a man takes a bag of bricks, not cocaine. That would be too exciting. Just a regular ass bag of bricks. He paddles away from shore and drowns himself. No plot twist on that one, guys. We just watched the Live League exclusive, and it probably would have bombed on there too. What a boring way to go out. How do you get a not good on your death? And G is not for go fuck yourself. G is for gravity. Wanna know why? Because there ain't Newton to see here. Buzzing. Also, small tidbit, the director, Andrew Trocchi, was working on a full-length film at the time, so he obviously couldn't devote that much time to this project. Although his interview reads like a line of excuses, because he knows it's bad. I had a lot of ideas, but I was literally really pressed for time, and a lot of the other shorts are a lot grander than mine, basically because, you know, I don't want to get too distracted from the jungle, the film I'm working on. Coming up with a short story just as hard as a full-length film. Also, in Australia, short films are jokey affairs, so it's difficult to tie it in. Just say it was shit, and I wish I could have done more. Hey. This one's pretty straightforward, and also how we kick the film off. This woman has brought her husband his last role because she stabs his ass in the neck. And that's not enough. This ought to do the trick. Okay, what did the dying husband say to the wife after she threw hot fry oil in his face? Well, that didn't pan out. And that's the peak of that film. Also, was your meal gonna be fries and a roll? Must be that quarantine special. He's still somehow alive for another whole ass 2 minutes, even though his wife just made a fucking poutine out of him. Oh yeah, and the apocalypse is among them, by the way. Hence the A is for apocalypse. K is the only animation in the bunch. And you know what? It's a piece of shit that refuses to be flushed down the toilet because I don't know. This turd evades her multiple times until the lady bends over, Jedi mind tricks her underwear down, and all the turd's thinking is, that's looking like a return to sender to me, dog. And she dies. Because someone had to? The end. It's not shit. I mean, it's an edgy newspaper comic. It's ad. It's not Gravity. That's all that matters. I didn't really like B at first, but I have warmed up to it a bit. It's a couple trying to get their freak on, but this nugget can't sleep. So they do what any horny couple would do, and they put the fear of God into this little girl and warn her about the abominable snowman who eats the hearts of little kids who aren't in bed by a certain time. This moron buys it, and within seconds, they're still just chubbed out and start cranking cooters. But turns out, exactly what they described actually exists in the form of their garbage man. And he kills them both, but he did let them finish first. Not a lot of villains giving out that luxury. Some might even call it cuckadry. Now, am I upset that our villain looks like a retired Mexican rock star? Not at all. Am I bothered that he looks like Sherlock homeless? Not in the slightest. Lives in a Van Helsing.
I need any available defenders on point. Cabal are on the ground with some serious hardware.
Sid, can you hear us? The Cabal just dropped some kind of industrial rig.
I see it on camera. They're tapping a nanite node, bleeding my baby to death.
You got it.
you were watching?
Yeah, had a few minutes and thought I'd help, but it didn't look like you needed it.
I don't know if it could be blood in this one. Rift. I tried it. Oh shit. But PvP is just shit in Destiny in general. To be honest with you. Always has been. You really don't have to aim in Destiny at all. That's such a kind of stupid. Even snipers. I was a high value target. Didn't even realize. Makes sense why I was so tanky though. Fucking flinch, man. you. Oh, the regular is ready. Oh, is this just oh, yeah, this is just where the golden chest was.
B is for Bigfoot? So because the white abominable snowman is brown, he has to be Bigfoot? After looking more into it, I guess there were just some issues and switcheroonies with the letters because this was originally supposed to be Y is for Yeti, which that one makes sense. I like the Creepshow-esque soundtrack. I like the Peep Show breast round rack. 2 out of 2. I mean, this one's fine. Can make this one quick. The director wanted to recreate a senseless murder, specifically of a woman, as it was so ongoing from where he's from, Mexico. He wanted to draw attention to that. Now, I didn't just get that from watching it. I read that because I read. It's uncomfortable to watch, and I think for what he had to work with and what he had in mind, he did a good job. It's not something I personally want to rewatch, but I mean, yeah, that's about it. I got no jokes. I is for ingrown. Still got nothing. Why indeed? This is definitely one of the standouts. Keep in mind, these directors were given all the creative power in the world. Watching all 26 films, I have no reason to believe otherwise. And this one's fucked, but in the best kind of way. This short is about a pedophile janitor, or as I like to call him, custodian. No? Fuck. Sweeper. Minesweeper, Miner Sweeper, a map with a mop. The short's presented like a music video with some 80s workout routine music, or like cheesy action movie soundtrack. This janitor had taken a boy hunting, killed a deer, and apparently fucked the deer's severed head in front of the kid. I know, a little weird. So he's watching the boys shoot some hoops, and for some reason they're sweating like Drago on the ropes. They clear out, and now my guy's got a free wave pool of moist crack, and he's feeling like a junkie.
Heavy glaive is doing insane damage to bosses. Demonstrate in today's video by shooting the dungeon boss for Zia. There you have it. That was 3 of us using the Winterbite 1 phasing dungeon boss for Zia. We had on Stasis Weapon Surge and Rain of Fire so we could reload it instantly. And definitely really strong. We don't know exactly why it's doing this, why it's acting like this. We think it's probably due to multiple shatters due to the freezing, but it's strong. It's a really good DPS glaive. New
I'm not saying
She, her. What about you?
I just use my name as my main pronoun.
What's your name?
Nick.
Nick.
Yeah, but my secondary pronoun, I just go by her. So just like you go by she, her, instead of she, I go by Nick, basically. So I got this exercise that I do basically for us to get comfortable with each other's pronouns. So basically, I'll start with the exercise. So for you, I'd go your she, her, your she, her, your she, her. And for me, you could
So
go.
you're Nick. You're. I just go by she, her. What about you?
Oh, Winterbite's gone. You got something to munch on. I will play something. Be right. too short. I'd head off, but I don't know. I'm definitely gonna be. I'm going to be eating and watching stuff for a little bit. Today is just a chill stream anyway, and tomorrow there might be, well, there might be a stream tomorrow. It just depends on what mood I'm in. Well, they bundles that give XP.
New exotic heavy glaive is doing insane damage to bosses. Demonstrate in today's video by shooting the dungeon boss for Zia. There you have it. That was 3 of us using the Winterbite 1 phasing dungeon boss for Zia. We had on Stasis Weapon Search.
Hello viewer, hope you're doing well. One of the most common questions I've been getting about like a trade I made on Arms Dealer. Go to the Arms Dealer and buy headband and go to the donate section. Now here comes the hard part, that is basically a carpal tunnel speedrun any percent. You have to mark Alright, listen up. Chicken racing, guaranteed wins 100% of the time. All you have to do, find the chicken raising place, go in. This is assuming you don't have money issues, by the way, which if you do have money issues, check out my money guide for a few tips on how to make money before you get into this. But assuming you have enough for about 8,000 tags, which will come about to 80 Rio, go into the mini with this minigame. If you bet on the chicken you want or the chickens you want, and then you immediately leave the race, and then before the leaving actually happens, you go and start the race, you can lose a chicken race without losing any of your tags. Check this out. Go into buy tickets, go to the dividend list, bet on every single outcome there is. As much as you can. Actually, you might want to start with the last list first, because that's what gives the most profit, and then you can go downhill from there. Believe it or not, because of how many times you have to confirm listings here, you might not have the time to bet on every single outcome. So that's why you want to start with the last category. And here we go. This is good enough for now. Now watch. You leave, and right as you leave, you go and start the race. Now this way, it's guaranteed you will win. And if you lose, I mean, there's no losing because you bet on almost every single outcome. There's just no losing. Now the one downside to this is that your hand might be fucking crying at the end of your farming session. But hey, that's a price worth paying for guaranteed wins, right? Now watch this. Look at that. Just like that. Guaranteed win. No worries. Nothing. Hope this helps you all make money that much faster. You don't have to go through the whole loading, saving, loading, watching yourself lose for the 100th time and crying almost. No, it's all about guaranteed wins. You're welcome. Have fun with Like a Dragonetian. Bye-bye, you guys.
Fuck! What are you waiting for? Circle around and kill him! Kill the cop!
Oh. Yeah, that works.
Pain!
He has no cover, shoot him.
Fucking pay for this Russian, you'll fucking pay!
You saved my life! I could kiss you!
Then do so, my friend. Kiss me.
Vinny Gognitti, a criminal mastermind?
He is wiping out everyone he sees as competition on the black market gun trade. The mafia underboss has made a deal with someone powerful.
What was it you did for a living again?
Scout's honor, detective. I have mended my ways, evolved to a higher level. Vodka will be the best restaurant in the city. I'll be rich and famous.
But like 30 people died in there.
Annie was a princess. They killed her for no reason.
You hurt your hand just now?
A hot date yesterday. Can I tempt you?
On a hot date? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll go on a hot date with you. Oh, you mean the alcohol? Oh. Oh, we're back home?
John Mira. He was the devil incarnate, a fallen angel.
The flesh of fallen angels.
He was a serial killer. He had framed me for his murders. One night, I woke to a knock at my door.
What?
Someone slipped a note under the door.
So you still got these dream sequences from Max Payne 1.
Max.
Payne. Okay, this is a nightmare.
Max.
Yeah. What? Oh. She ain't doing well, chat. It's to get a different camera angle here. Or do I have to get this camera angle? Okay.
Sorry I woke you.
Okay, she's doing better than I thought, chat.
We need to hit the place now. Payne's in there.
They know that you know. You must run.
Max Payne! Drop your weapons and come out with your hands above your head! Run, Payne, run! We are gonna shoot!
I don't have any guns. Okay. Doing acrobatics?
Payne, you're done. Everything you say will be used against you.
What are you hiding? She's alive, isn't she? Confess.
These people are assholes.
Push your luck. Sit down.
We're just getting started.
Put it down now.
Oh. Oh.
My hero.
When you're waking up, the world is a blur. What was clear in a dream suddenly makes no sense. I had woken up to a knock at my door. Mona, I was wondering when you'd show up.
Max, I'm not here to kill you. Aren't you going to ask me in?
Why do you have the gun?
You are in danger.
Oh, no shit.
There's a contract out on us.
There's no us in this. You're a murder suspect. I should take you in. I was hiding behind the badge.
Must be a large badge.
Sniper!
They found me. This was a mistake.
Wait, Mona! I had to catch her, find out what was going on.
Hey, he's not very good at his job. Can I shoot him? You're both bad at our jobs. Okay. Got him. Hooray. Is that ham and pineapple pizza? Gross.
No one's home. Go away.
Okay, no one's home, chat.
Oh, no, you won't. Get out.
Oh.
Welcome back, Guardians. Firstly, if you have not completed the Lightfall campaign, this video will contain spoilers. You have been warned. If you equip either Nezarek's Whisper, the glaive, or the exotic Warlock helmet, Nezarek's Sin, and enter this Lost Sector, Thrillerdrome, on Neptune, you get a secret. You can actually hear Nezarek speak. After the ending of Season of Plunder, I was pretty critical of Bungie and assumed Nezarek was just another plot line that would be cut short and lead nowhere. In fact, I said this on stream, promising one of my viewers a permanent VIP if Nezarek returned.
I am so confident that Nezarek will never return in any way, and that any talk of Nezarek being seen in the game is complete and utter copium. That if Nezarek returns, Miss 100, in the flesh, we see him in the game, I'll give you a permanent VIP. You have to clip it. You have to remind me of this when it happens.
Yeah, I definitely think I was wrong, and now think that Nezarek will be the raid boss for this season. On a side note of being critical of Bungie, and for those wondering, I will release my first impressions of the campaign soon. I still need some time to get through all the post-campaign missions and get my thoughts in order, so stay tuned. But before starting, this video is sponsored by Raycon earbuds, starting at half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycon earbuds have undergone in the pool. As you likely noticed, Nezarek is mentioned a couple of times during the Lightfall campaign, specifically in the radio dialogue, the strike mission on Neptune, and some Tormentor's unnamed imprint of Nezarek. The citizens of Neomuna have been uploaded to a virtual space known as the Cloud Ark, powered by the Veil. And by the way, I'm going to cover these topics of the Cloud Ark and the Veil in a separate video. I need more time to replay the campaign again and rip all the dialogue out of it and reread it, so just stay tuned. Anyway, the citizens of Neomuna are experiencing a recurring nightmare related to Nezarek. Have a listen to the radio message and the strike mission dialogue, then I'll show you what happens in the Lost Sector if you equip Nezarek's gear.
I'm Jisoo Colorado, reporting for Neomuna Civil News. Cloudstrider Nimbus reports that recent Cloud Ark fluctuations are the result of new security measures to guard against intrusions. The Cloudstrider credits the Earth's Guardians for contributing personnel toward the dangerous operation. Despite this, more citizens have experienced nightmares. One name common to all: Nezarek.
Hey, Guardian. I'm not sure if this is because of the taking, but I'm starting to get a lot of weird claims from Cloud Ark citizens. Screams, weird voices, nightmares, you name it. The Cloud Ark is built on the energy field produced by the Veil. It's resilient, but not impenetrable. A backdoor wouldn't be impossible. Hopefully, getting rid of whatever is at the center of this will shake all that weirdness out of the system too. Hopefully. Guardian, it looks like you're getting closer to the source of the problem. That track nearby looks like your best bet.
Let's just hope it's stable.
Finally.
What was that?
Such a fragile space. This will do. Oh, so much pain.
It's just normal.
Fear within the darkness here. It's so satisfying. I will consume it once more.
Did you both hear that? Was that the voice the citizens have been mentioning?
This is far too similar to the nightmares we encountered on the Leviathan. We will need to confront this, but for now we need to locate the access point and stop any attempts to weaken the Veil. And we're back in business. Defenses are back up and taken or cleared out. Make your way back to the city, Guardian. We must finish our preparations to ensure Callus's defeat. This prison in between, it will shatter. But I need power. I am pain. I am terror. I am Nezarek.
Now, there are other points in the game where you will get unknown whispers over your comms. The best place to reproduce this is the Lost Sector Thrilladrome on Neptune. I know it also happens during a post-campaign Exotic Mission 2, but I have so much footage to sort through I couldn't find it quite yet. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know. So, if you
Now you might have clicked on this video because you saw my first video. I watched 4 disturbing movies and only one didn't suck. It's also possible you didn't, so let me not waste your time. I almost never watch disturbing movies, but my morbid curiosity is what helps drive a video like this. It almost helps me feel more justified watching these movies if I can discuss them on my platform, because imagine watching these types of movies, turning them off, and then just carrying that shit with you. That's psycho shit. Who just watches some traumatizing ass film and goes to bed like everything's okay? In this video, I will be reviewing 4 disturbing movies. And like I did with my first video, I chose movies that I have never heard of, that I know nothing about. I'm going in blind. And I actually got these from the comment section of that video. So if they suck, that's your bad. The 4 titles I chose for this video are We Need to Talk About Kevin, Antrum, Tusk, and The Road. This was a hell of a movie to start off on. It's not a piece of shit, so I do want to offer you a spoiler-free review before I give you a much more in-depth review, because I do want to give you the opportunity to watch it yourself and then come back if it piques your curiosity. We Need to Talk About Kevin is a slow burn of a movie. We follow Eva's transition from a young romance to a family life. Her struggle with this only intensifies with her inability to control, let alone connect with her new son. We follow this timeline to his teenage years, and the relationship only worsens along with Kevin's behavior. Eva is played from Tilda Swinton, who you might recognize from Suspiria. She does a great job in this movie along with the main cast, I would say. It's presented in a pretty odd fashion. There's a lot of timeline jumps, there's a lot of flashbacks, and it's possible that could take somebody out of the movie, especially considering the movie's nearly 2 hours long. I have my gripes with certain scenes that I think lower this psychological thriller into something a bit more cartoonish. If anything, that's what took me out of it at times. It's far from perfect, but I personally enjoyed it. I want to watch it again because I believe a second watch could bring me a new experience, and as far as its disturbing factor, it's rather low on my scale. I'd give it a 3 out of 10. The movie is uncomfortable. You start to go a little nuts yourself as the movie drags on. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that's purposeful, but disturbing? It's somewhat bleak, it's gross at times, but I would say the movie's pretty tolerable. Honda Civics. I mean, spoilers. The opening scene is this fever-like dream where our main character is at what I think is a real thing, actually, a massive tomato food fight in Spain. Or I don't know, maybe it's a massive dog pile in pasta sauce. Looks like a Chef Boyardee. We meet the family of Eva, Franklin, Kevin, and number 2. And I'll tell you right now, the first 15 minutes, you have no idea what the fuck is going on because the movie is bouncing everywhere. Even revisiting it, after knowing everything that happens, still slightly lost. Yo, you ever try Asian restaurant? Shit is crazy. Eva is the Michelle Grace of mothers. She hates her baby's cry so much she'd rather listen to a jackhammer and rupture her baby's eardrums. Things don't get much better as he grows up because, well, look at his face. You learn he's in prison as an adult, but we don't know why. The timeline continues to play out very jumbled. This kid does a Fortnite dance way ahead of his time. I love how this movie makes everything look and feel repulsive. She goes out to get lunch and gets a fresh-ass Panera sandwich, and it looks like shit. Like the garnish was a people's elbow. Her chewing gives me nausea, the food looks rained out. They show some titties, and I'm not even rocking with those. Everything looks gross. You know how Michelle Grace said her 2-year-old would purposely do things to get under her skin because her 2-year-old is capable of such a diabolical mindset? This kid is actually that. She dresses up a room that reminds her of what she loves, inspires her, and this knucklehead becomes the alpha in one false swoop. Fuck you, Mom.
Okay, let's work on our counting. What comes after 3?
9.
What comes after 7?
We should actually back up real quick, Eva. That's not correct. He mentally tortures his mom just being a smartass and a menace.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Now coming quick.
After a failed learning numbers session, Eva tries to flex on him with her high school graduateness. So he says, all right, speaking of numbers, how about a deuce? So she cleans him up, but then he's like, hey, what's that? He keeps shitting. He just has that type of talent. All right, shitty butt-ass boy, go on! And even with a broken arm, this kid got mind games for days. babies. By the way, if you ever wanted to dissuade someone from not having kids, throw this on during your next movie night. The New York Times gave it 2 thumbs up and 2 tubes tied. By the way, Franklin is none the wiser because Kevin just always shows him love. And even with all of this, Eva says, fuck it, let's have 2 little Dahmers.
So the daddy bear plants his seed in the mommy bear and it grows into an egg.
It's just about fucking.
Do you know what that means?
The boy puts his pee-pee in the girl's doo-doo.
I mean, only when she's feeling spicy. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell your mom I said that. Time passes, number 2 grows up, Kevin picks up archery, and this is where the imprisoned Kevin delivers some of his more cheesy dialogue, which is a little too on the nose for me. He has this little speech, and basically what he's doing is this. We live in a society. He tortures his little sister and also doesn't mind getting caught whacking it by his mom. Just jacking it to the decor, my guy? Maybe he's just putting on some Manscaped ball deodorant, I don't know. This movie also partakes in something that Happiness did, playing this cheery, upbeat music when what you're actually watching is just horribly depressing. I think it's fun. Once again, they really overdo it with this smart shit attitude, in my opinion. This might be my least favorite dialogue in the movie.
So, how's school going?
It's going. On my course schedule.
How about your teachers? Are there any who are
Right.
special?
What bands am I listening to these days? Right. Next, you can wheedle about whether there isn't some cute little cunt in the front row who's got me itchy. That way you can segue into how it's all up to me, of course, but before bawling the chick in the hallway. You know, I might decide to wait until I'm ready. Right around dessert, you can ask about drugs. Real careful, like, because you don't want to...
Yes, you're very smart. Shut up.
I saw a hamster for 1 second on screen, and of course he's gonna die. Kevin tosses him in the garbage disposal, and then lets his sister play with Drano and lose her eye. But that poor hamster is fucking adorable. Incident after incident with Eva blaming Kevin for everything, and Franklin not seeing the validity starts to divide the two, and they plan to split up. Meanwhile, Kevin's just eavesdropping, looking like Kylo Ren. Kevin buys some bicycle locks, and he plans to sell them.
To make a bundle selling them at school.
Like Donald Trump, huh?
That sounds so weird. His name being referenced pre-presidency just sounds like it was deep-faked in. Unfortunately, this movie is as relevant as ever because, as some of you may have guessed by now, Kevin actually had something much more sinister in mind. Once at school, he locks up the doors of his gym with those bicycle locks and shows off his archery skills one last time. Eva hears of trouble at his school and is shocked to see injury after injury, only to see her son walk out with a smug smile. He's taken away by police and she rushes home to a dark, silent house, only to discover Franklin and her daughter have also been murdered by Kevin, and the movie ends shortly after. I could see this movie receiving a lot of backlash for perhaps glorifying something like this, but I don't think it quite reaches that point. It introduces one's yearn for notoriety with these types of crimes, and that's a tough thing to display without.
Vegetarian, so I have this set up right now for you guys to see. We have this really gross, it's like a beef, like dog food, and then I have this delicious green salad. So I'm gonna bring her out and we're gonna see which one she likes. Also, my dog is very healthy. She loves greens, she loves her salad, and I don't force her to eat her salad. It's what she likes. Come here, come here, okay. Okay, so this is Bonnie. She is my little vegetarian, okay? Now, no, don't eat that. No, eat that salad. Look, salad. Do we need the salad? Here, pick one. No, Bonnie, no. So some of you just don't believe that my dog's a vegetarian, so I have this set up right now for you guys.
One second. Drop a I've lost the ball.
Only bought you two of them ones. You were asking about the
Think about it. Or about to be anyway. Go eat. I feel like it was an extra ball.
look at the other ones I got you.
That's a few.
That's all.
Yeah.
What are you? Okay.
That's okay. It's just I like having a mix, Johnny.
Unless it's probably wonderful.
Answers.
One circle, one circle, one big circle, one circle, one circle, one circle, one circle, one big circle, one circle, one circle, one circle, one big circle, one circle, one circle, one big, one circle, one circle, one big, one circle, 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 one big circle.
Can someone tell me what these categories are? Schmungus?
What?
A VPN into what? Another dimension? I married a schmungus. What the hell is a schmungus? What is the schmungus among us? What the schmungus is revenge? What?
They stole my schmungus.
What? Ah! Okay, I'm at my girlfriend's house.
Sounds good. Let me just see here. What is Gooby? What? Not good enough for you? Oh, I'm sorry. I've never heard of it. No, I'm sorry. It's my parents don't pay for like all the streaming services. Like I don't have like HBO. Gooby's all I have. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll find something good on here. Yeah. Okay. How about a scary movie? I like the way you think. Oh, here's a classic. Rundegar Williams. What? I've never heard of it. You've never seen it? Oh, it's a great Rundegar Jones vehicle. Rundegar Jones? The actor. What? Don't tell me they don't have Rundegar Jones on those other streaming services. No, they don't. Well, this will be a great foray for you, you know, into actual good cinema. Okay. What? You don't want to watch Rundegar Williams? No, it's just why is like the actor's name and the movie name like the same sort of? I fucking knew you were gonna say that. What? Gooby's not good enough for you, is it? Oh, look at Princess Castle. Too good to watch Rundegar Jones movies with her buddy. Buddy? Whatever. Just maybe you should leave. No, look, I'm sorry. Okay, I want to watch something with you. I do. Okay, maybe let's just see what else there is though. All right. Look, how about Smugglin's 3? Ah, the black sheep of the Smugglin's franchise. Underrated, but a worthy film in its own right.
Thank you for gathering here today. As many of you know, my name is Beef Stew, and if you're watching this video, then
most fun thing you're going to do this week in Destiny 2, take a rocket, fire it straight up, and then grapple onto it. You can hit the skybox in any location, any destination, and it works in PvP. All you have to do is make sure you're using a rocket that has extremely low velocity. This one right here is found in collections. This is the most fun
proponent of the Second Amendment. I believe the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the one right.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Years old with a multi-million-dollar real estate investing portfolio, and this is kind of how I accidentally got started with real estate investing. My degree and work experience had literally nothing.
egg whites, add some mozzarella cheese, and add your bagels. Now, flip it over and add extra cheese, some sausage, and flip it. Yum, look at that. Now, cheese bomb bagel hack. Add your egg whites.
Mira el partido fácil, mira el partido fácil.
Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? Hi, my name is One Peg. Thanks for coming by. In this video, we're going to talk about the crafting books. If you remember, yesterday I uploaded a video, or the day before, something like that. We uploaded a video that talked about how some of the changes that BSG had made included the LEDX craft that you can find now on the medical station. Unfortunately, that includes a book being required in order to be able to craft it. This one, Carbon Universal Microchips, CUM. Yeah, yep, that's it. Yep, I saw it too. That book is required to be able to craft the LEDX chips. see. UM. Yeah. Yep. That's it. Yep. I saw it too. That book is required to be able to craft the LEDX. Unfortunately, the only way to get a hold of this book is to go through a whole lot of tasks and get way into the end game and talk to Lightkeeper. Or so we thought. In the comments section of that video, someone responded with a comment that said the book was findable on Lighthouse. And to my knowledge, that was something that had never been disclosed by anyone else in the community. So I thought, well, let's go look for it and see if that's actually true. Because as we all know, people like to make troll comments all the time. People try to mislead the wiki all the time and push things in certain directions. And, you know, it's always good to, you know, trust but verify, right? Well, I will tell you that it is findable on Lighthouse. Well, kind of. But I will get to that in a second. Now, remember, there's more than one crafting book. There's this book. There's a bunch of other ones. You get additional crafts as time go on when you're doing the Lightkeeper tasks. He gives you crafting books to be able to unlock the ability to make other things on the Intel Center and the medical station. But I will be the first to tell you that the tip that was given to me in the comment section was real. So I'm going to show you the clip where it was found on Lighthouse, but we need to talk a little bit more about it after the clip is over. So in this clip, where I am is in the main warehouse on Lighthouse, in the train yard. So you have to work your way all the way up to the northern end of the map. But in the train yard, in the main warehouse, there's this lit up desk that very commonly has things like grenades on it or nuts and bolts and whatnot. Well, in this spot, shared along with those other spawns, is a book. Believe it or not. The problem is that this book is not the electronics book that makes the LEDX, the Carbon Universal Microchips book. Instead, this book is this one, the Advanced Electronic Stuff book, which is slightly different. Now, it's still important, and it's still very much desired because this is used in making a whole lot of other, I guess, tech item crafts. You need this book in order to be able to make vertexes, wireless signal transmitters, Reapers, like the Reap IR rifle scope, as well as the RFID reader. It's needed to make all of those. In fact, in order to be able to craft the Reap IR, you need both that book and the microchips book. So here's the wonder. We are finding crafting books on the table, at least that one crafting book. My question is, if the other one spawns there too. Now, I found this one after about, 10 or 12 attempts, which could either mean I'm really lucky, or it could mean there's about a 10% spawn chance. But the sample size is so low that it's not really valuable information yet. So what I would say is, for all of you, if you want to try and make a run and see if you find it on scav runs or on your PMC or whatever, try and see if you can find that book spawning on the table in Lighthouse. But I think this is super valuable information for everybody. As always, if you guys end up having any other tips, stop by the Discord, discord.gg/onepeg. You can stop by. There's a whole lot of people. We're always talking, trying to theorycraft and find new and interesting things. Stop by the stream, twitch.tv/onepeg, or if you would be so kind as to sub the channel here where we compile all of our information and try and provide, things that are of value to everyone else in the community, please sub the channel. I would very, very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for lending me your eyeballs, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Hello everybody, welcome to another Like a Dragon Asian guide. In today's guide, I'll show you a personal recommendation for endgame gear that should get you by most, if not all, content just fine. A bit of a disclaimer though, there is a big amount of weapons and equipment in this game, and with the addition of seals that weren't in the original to my knowledge, that just adds that much more room for experimenting. I'm not saying this video will give you the absolute best, no contest kind of equipment, because as far as I know, you can get a sword from Amon, the secret boss, that can then be upgraded to be the best sword in the game. But to get access to the secret boss, you need to finish all the sub-stories and all the dungeon battles as well. I've heard that once that's done, you need to play the last dungeon battle to be introduced to him. But that's something you shouldn't worry about now, because if you're here, chances are you just want to get a decent weapon that will help get you there. First, let's talk about materials and where to get at least most of the ones you might need. On this build of mine or otherwise, there's 3 places that I use, and outside of an exception or two, they are all I ever needed. Number 1. The Shinto Priest Virtue Exchange. You can find the priest on the upper left corner of the map, where he'll just be chilling next to a shrine. And for future reference, if you want to find a specific establishment, press the list button on the map and that should help. Keep in mind that you need to first unlock this virtue shop from the shrine itself by using virtue to unlock that, and then you need to upgrade his shop so his item selection increases. If you're low on virtue, check out this other guide of mine that covers how to farm money and virtue simultaneously. Link will be in the description. The priest has some materials that can also be obtained from the dungeon, which we'll be talking about shortly, but you can kind of make it quicker with him because the dungeon is RNG and, well, you get stuff from him guaranteed. Number 2, the blacksmith material shop. It's easy to forget about this one considering that the first thing you see going in isn't him, but he sells a very good selection of materials, so you should definitely keep him in mind. Number 3, the dungeon missions. These are unfortunately based on RNG when it comes to getting exactly what you want. In other words, you're not guaranteed to get the material that you want when you play the specific mission that has the material you want. And I've seen comments about asking to find another method, and I really do feel for you guys, and I hate to be the one to break it to you, but the original Ishin made it so that you'd need to embrace the grind, and this remake isn't really any different in that regard. Sooner or later, you will come back to the dungeons. They contain probably every
Let's go XP. Or it's good in different versions. Oh, okay. Alright, pass it down.
Single material you could possibly ever need. I mentioned exceptions earlier, and that's with things like vegetables. There are a few weapons that have vegetables as materials for crafting them, and to get those, you'd need to go to Haruka's farm that you're introduced to just by playing the story eventually. To access her farm, you need to take this boat in Fushimi down here at this spot. You'll be able to access more vegetables by unlocking them from the shrine as well, so that's another reason to grind for virtue. To speed up the process for vegetable farming, get your hands on a lot of fertilizers.
It's so unique.
Pharmacy here also in Fushimi. Let's take the
With style? With
you need a bunch of taros to craft.
We've been waiting for 20 minutes.
Now here's how to efficiently use the fertilizers. Interact with this little shed to open up the farming, reset the farming plan, and then go in there and put as many taros in there as you can. And then use a fertilizer right after you do that. Once done, leave that menu, go into the house nearby, and then back out into the menu again, and that will reset the farm state and you'll be able to use the fertilizer again. This is necessary because normally you're not able to use fertilizer multiple times in a row, so leaving and quote-unquote resetting the farm this way will allow you to do so. So far this was all just to give you an idea of where you get most of the materials you'll need. In a game of this scale, there's bound to be other options that aren't in this brief video. Now that I gave you multiple locations to get materials for your own future reference, let's move on to the build that I've been using. A build that works pretty well even in the later dungeon missions and the arena. Just to get this out of the way, I'll be talking about all these equipment at the highest rarity, so I'll do some explaining on how to get that. When you craft an item at the blacksmith, you're able to use different types of hammers, and that's what determines what rarity you'll get. Typically, the more in-betweens there are when you start aiming for something, the better, because this means that you can use more lower tier hammers to get the highest rarity of the weapon or equipment eventually. But say for example you craft something that has no prerequisites, then that means you'll have to use the highest tier hammer, the Kiwami hammer, to get that something at the highest tier. Anyway, for the sword, I picked the Onimaru, purely because it has the most damage output when it comes to the numbers, and the number of empty slots in it isn't too bad if I want to put additional seals into it. And for the gun, a decent option would be the golden gun, which you can buy from the gambling den exchange for 125,000 tags. For this, you'll need to do chicken racing, which is mentioned in the money guide I linked earlier. Another option that I also use is Model 14, which has pretty good damage and a very good amount of seal slots. Moving on to equipment, I use the Divine Dragon Emblem for the head accessory. I feel like this piece strikes a balance between the amount of defense it provides and the amount of seal slots it has, and the built-in heat-related seals aren't too shabby. For the body armor, I use Brawler's Binding because out of all the ones you can craft here, this has the highest base defense value and also the highest seal slots, though it seems like no other body armor here goes beyond 4 slots. For the gauntlets, I went with the Unbreakable Stance gauntlets because it seemed the most balanced in terms of defense given and the slots as well. Of course, it's up to you whether you find other pieces more enticing to make, but these are the pieces that I used for my endgame grinding and they've done a great job for me. You might be wondering about seals and how to get them. So far, I think the most not boring way of farming them is to just try your luck with random encounters, or maybe try to farm for equipment in the dungeons. I think when you craft things at the blacksmith and there's multiple slots, you get a chance of adding a seal, but that's a process that requires saving and then a lot of loading and possibly material hunting to be able to craft so much. It remains to be seen if there's a reliable way to get them. That's all for this video. Hope it was useful to someone out there. If it was, a like and a sub would help me out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, peace! Hello everybody, and welcome to another Like a Dragon Asian guide. This time we'll be taking a look at how to level up quickly. When we say level up in this game, that can mean multiple things. There's the overall level, which gives you training orbs after each level that you're able to use in any style's skill tree, or the style specific levels that give you orbs specific to that overall difficulty increase. The dungeon is one thing you will have to go back to sooner or later just because of how beneficial it is. If it's not for experience, it's for materials. If it's not for materials, it's for specific weapon and armor drops maybe. Or maybe you just want another place to level up your troopers. Don't quote me on this, but I think every single mid to high end material can be obtained from one mission or another just with this minigame alone. Of course, you need to check each individual mission's drop list to make sure of that. But we'll talk about materials and crafting in another video. Another really good way to get general experience is from the 100-man battle in the arena. This is decent for mid to late game where decent weapons and equipment might not really be that much of a concern. If you don't know where the arena is, you can find it in Mokorogai at the top floor use. Also worth noting, you can't use the trooper cards here, so keep that in mind. On average, it takes me just under 5 minutes to clear this, and for that amount of time, according to the calculation that I made after a run, I got about 21.5 thousand experience, which is pretty damn good, especially for when you're pushing past level 60 and increasing the overall level is slow at this point. Now for style specific leveling, honestly, the XP items for them might just be the best way, especially since styles are capped to level 25, whereas your overall level goes up to probably 99. So that means you'll definitely have all styles maxed out before you even go past something like level 70, at least if you kept the styles in mind. Now when I say XP items, I mean these little things called Daifku. Each style has one for them, and to get these you can buy them from the Shinto priest for virtue instead of money. And if you want to know how to farm virtue and money possibly as fast as you can, check out my other brief video guide that delves into farming money and virtue, and in turn you'll be able to buy XP basically. If you're not desperately in a hurry trying to level up specific styles, you can probably just play the 100-man battle and simultaneously hit 2 birds with 1 stone that way, which will probably level up the style level and also your overall level. There is one thing I should have mentioned in the money guide, but I didn't know about it back then, and that is this neat thing called Virtuous Hood. You can craft this at the blacksmith, and when you sell platinum plates to the pawn shop following my money guide, make sure you have that on so you get even more virtue. Farming virtue can be a thing when you sell stuff and also buy stuff, so keep that in mind. Honestly, a lot of the grinding in this game is just one big cycle, so you'll find me saying go back to this or check that to be able to do this. I just think there's no specific order to do all this simultaneous grinding. You could start by doing the dungeon battles for materials and XP for example, and then you decide you want better equipment, and so if you don't have the money then, you'll grind for money and then you might be short on materials, so you go back to the dungeons, just one big cycle. But anyway, this is the end of the video. I do hope this is useful to someone out there. If it did help you out, a like and a subscribe in return would help me out a lot.
on Twitch.
I'm gonna run the giveaway soon if you don't do X. I'm gonna run the giveaway soon if you don't do X. I'm gonna run the giveaway soon.
Oh, is my mic fucked? Oh, is my mic fucked? Oh, no, okay. Oh, is my mic fucked? Oh, no, okay. Right, okay, just to make sure this is the thing. Brother.